Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and hello if you're new here. I'm so glad that you've decided to join, especially for my bookshelf tour video, which I'm finally getting around to doing. It kind of just got to a point where I just recently did a book haul. I managed to fit them all on the shelves and I thought, look Poppy, before your shelves inevitably become messy again, you need to do this bookshelf tour. It has been so highly requested on here and on my BookTok account as well. And so I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to show you every single book that I've got on here. There's up there, they're down here, they're over there. They're just everywhere. Pretty randomly the other day, I actually woke up and I was like, how many books have I actually, because I've never counted. I didn't count very specifically, but for my book haul, which had, I think it was 25 books or something, I was at around 450. So we've got between 450 to 500 books on here. There's a lot to get through. I will explain to you how I organise my shelves. I'll even just point out books along the way that I would recommend to you and everything like that. So I'll go into a bit of detail about the bookshelves themselves. So they are all from Amazon. I've got 3 in a row that take up a wall in this, I call it my library room. It's a spare room, but it's like my reading room, and it takes up a whole entire wall. And these bookshelves are from Amazon. They will be linked in my links below because I know I'll probably get asked. I really like them because first of all, you can get them in this colour, which is like a greyish brown, and then you can also get them in a more mahogany brown, which I like. But I like that they have offset partitions, so I don't know if you can see. So it sort of breaks it up a little bit. My original plan when I first bought them was that I was going to put different genres in each section. If I'm being completely honest, the entirety of this bookshelf, bar a couple of shelves over here, are dark romance. The top row is majority fantasy, with a little bit of contemporary romance on the end. The rest of it is pretty much dark romance, and then we've got some contemporary romance, which I will show you guys in just a moment. And I just want to point out and say that this is, I've been collecting these books for 2 to 3 years now religiously. There are also books that I have got stacked at the end that didn't fit onto my shelves. On the end, they are all my contemporary romances / rom-com, bar a couple that are on the shelf because I actually like those, but they got evicted. They got evicted over there. They're over there now. So there are books here that I've had from years ago. There's books that on here that I've had from when I was literally a teenager. But yes, I would say the majority of them have come from the last 2 to 3 years. When I buy books, I don't do it by half. I sort of wait a couple of months and I do it in one go, as you will have seen in the 2 haul videos that are already up on my channel, which I will link below for you as well if you want to see the book haul, so you can see what books on here are new. The way I organise my books as well is that they are mainly by genre and trope. I try to group them that way. So say for example, if I want a why choose romance, I know where to go, and they will be mainly why choose romances. And I also organise by author as well, and I will prioritise having an author stacked together, even if every single book by the author doesn't necessarily match the trope. So I hope that makes sense. Just as an example, Sophie Lark, she's got mafia romance books, but she's also got a contemporary romance and things like that. She is still going to be on the same shelf. I'm not going to just move one of her books and put them in the contemporary romance section, because it would really annoy me having her separate, if that makes sense. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so just quickly as well, I just want to show you guys this. I would say this top row here, you can't see it all just yet because I am going to do close-ups of each shelf and sort of break it down what's on that shelf. But this top row up here is kind of it's got some of my special editions, like my sprayed edges, and then at the end part it's got a couple of contemporary romances, but it's mainly fantasy. And then all of these rows that you can see here are pretty much just all dark romance books. And then this section here, we've got more contemporary romances. So that's this shelf, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those shelves are contemporary romances, and then one of the bottom shelves is psychological thrillers. So I just thought I would mention that. These bookshelves are 70% dark romance. So that is my preferred genre. Let me show you the books that I have stacked on the side. They're the books I don't tend to reach for anymore, and they got evicted. And then I'm gonna show you close-ups of each shelf so you can see exactly what books are on there, because when I say I'm gonna show you every single book, I mean it. What books I haven't read yet as well, so you can kind of gauge how many books are on my physical TBR. Which, if you would actually like me to get out every single book on here and show you all the books that are actually on my physical TBR, let me know in the comments. So like I say, we'll start with the corner bit. So these are all my like sad books, rom-coms, contemporary romance books. So mainly we've got like Colleen Hoover, we've also got some Tessa Bailey, Ali Hazelwood. They're just books that I just don't tend to reach for anymore, or I just don't want them like actually displayed properly on my shelves. If I had more space, I would actually display them, but unfortunately they're just not a priority. This other stack, which, did anybody ever read that series when they were younger, The Inheritance Cycle? Oh my god, I love that so much. The top 3 books are like The Fake Mate and Bride are actually new, and Praise, I actually moved that off my shelf when I organised it and just put it there for now. I need to figure out what to do with those books, but I just thought I'd show you them anyway. By the way guys, in the bottom corner of here, right at the bottom next to It Ends With Us, those books by Jonathan Harvey, did anybody read any books by him? Because I've had those since I was like maybe late teens, and they are like such good contemporary like rom-com romances. They're genuinely so funny. I don't really see anybody talking about him, but yeah, highly recommend Jonathan Harvey. Okay, so this is the first start of my fantasy shelves. As you can see, we've got Throne of Glass, Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. I've got my editions of Fourth Wing there as well. And then that's my Fourth Wing arc that I was very kindly given by the publisher, the one that says The Riders Quadrant. Very excited about that. So that is kind of like my SJM/Fourth Wing shelf. And then I have got a random book there, which is called The Stars Are Dying, which is by Chloe someone. I haven't actually read that yet. Okay, I've brought you a little bit closer now. So those special editions that you can see from left to right is My Dark Romeo, then the first 2 books in the Valanchek Legacy by Tate James, then Pod of Frosted Star, Starling House and Feybound. They all those special editions, and then we come on to my fantasy books. I have put the Emily McIntyre series here just purely because they're like fractured fairy tale retelling, so I thought I'd put that there. And then moving along, got the Dark Olympus series by Katie Robert. I have this really random edition of Shatter Me. Let me show you. Guys, I have never read Shatter Me before, so I don't really know why I have that. That's just me being impulsive. Court of the Vampire Queen, and then I've got the Touch of Darkness series by Scarlett Sinclair and Powerless, which I loved. Moving along again, that is the Throne of the Fallen, those purple sprayed edges. That is a Waterstones exclusive edition, and then I also got the City of Starlight, that's the blue sprayed edges. Then we've got a couple more fantasy books. I absolutely loved One Dark Window, but I haven't read Two Twisted Crowns yet. I really need to get around to that. And then we start moving into just a couple of random contemporary romances. So I've got A Study in Drowning actually, which, is that a fantasy? I think it might be a fantasy book. And then The Six of Crows duology. And then underneath those, the Crossfire series, which is one of my all-time favourite series ever. That series by T.L. Swan, I have not read yet. I don't know when I'm going to get around to it, but I don't even think I've got it stacked in order. And also the This Man series by Jodie Ellen Malpas. I still haven't read that yet. I bought that years ago after reading the Crossfire series because I wanted something like it, but I still haven't got around to reading it. Moving on to the next shelf, this is one of my favourite shelves ever. So those special editions on the right are the special edition versions of the Monsters and Muses series by Savile Miller, which is directly ahead. So Promises and Pomegranates, Vipers and Virtuosos, those books. They basically, I've got all 12 of those on there because they are special edition versions. And then that book that's resting on the top, the other sprayed edge, is another version of Promises and Pomegranates. And then also on the side, I've got the Entangled trilogy. I've only read the first book, to be fair. I haven't read Bound or Fractured, but I'm excited. I love that series. This is kind of a bit of a miscellaneous shelf, to be honest. I've got LJ Shen bunched together over there. So Beautiful Grace by her, My Dark Romeo. I've got Parker S. Huntington and LJ Shen on that shelf. I haven't read a variety of books on here. I haven't read The Words yet. I know that should be illegal. The Coldest Winter, that's actually a newer book to be added to the shelves. So a bit of miscellaneous, contemporary romances, rockstar romances, etc. This is a wildly dark bookshelf, to say the least. So we've got the Lord series by Chantal Tessier. I've read the first 3 books there, Sabotage, The Ritual and The Sinner. They are so dark. Obviously the Cat and Mouse duet, incredible. So we've got a lot of H.D. Carlton. The Losers duet by Harley LaRue, that was a 5-star read for me last year. It was amazing. And then I've got the first 2 books in the Soul trilogy by her as well, but I've only read her Soul to Take so far. This is another dark romance. I mean, most shelves from now on are going to be dark romances, but that is the Midnight Mayhem series by Amo Jones. Sicko, which was actually it was actually okay, that book. It was okay. I didn't love it, but it was okay. That Losing Track action book, and then the one next to it, that is a Rockstar Romance / Motorcycle Club duet, I think, by her. I haven't read that yet. And then some stalker romances, and then Skin of a Sinner, which is new. Then we're now on the sports romance shelves, although the Sugar Lake series by Emily McIntyre is there, which isn't actually sports romance, that's just like interconnected standalones. But in terms of how the covers looked, they kind of match that shelf. So we've got the Hoops trilogy, then going on to Becca Mack's hockey romance series, and then obviously we've got Mile High, The Right Move. I'm gonna be honest, I have only read on this shelf Long Shot, Consider Me, and Icebreaker. That's literally it. So this shelf is mainly unread because, you know, it's not that dark, is it? Which is why I don't reach for them. And then on this shelf, I've got the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. I've only read the first 2 books. And then the Kane Brothers series by Megan Quinn. I've only read a not so me cute of that though. I kind of like reach for those as palette cleansers, but then I tend to find that I don't always need a palette cleanser. Okay, so over here, this is kind of a miscellaneous shelf, but not really. Gothicana is a bit random, but I wanted to have that grouped with all the other books by Runix, and that is also the Mafia romance series that she has. I haven't actually read any of those books yet. I did read Gothicana though, and I loved it. And then Break the Girl and Stolen Trophy are dark romances. Stolen Trophy is actually a Why Choose romance. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm excited to read it. So next is basically my Sophie Lark shelf. So we've got loads of Sophie Lark books, mainly Mafia romance. So I kept that near the Dark First series by Runix. And then obviously we've got the East Oblivion and the Maid series by Danielle Laurie atop of that. Minx is actually contemporary romance, but like I say, I wanted to keep that with my Sophie Lark books. This shelf here, we've kind of got a couple more Mafia romances at the end, and then we've just sort of got miscellaneous dark romance books. So a couple of books by Jana Darling, JT Geisinger, and Sam Mariano as well. Even If It Hurts is one of the most unhinged books I've ever read. Pen Pal was one of the easiest 5 stars I've ever given as well, so I highly recommend that book. Moving on to my Rena Kent shelf, so I've got the Legacy of God series, then I've also got the Royal Elite series, a couple of duets like the Throne duet, Truth and Lies duet, the Thorns duet. So most of those I've only read on there, the Royal Elite series, which is these books here. That's the only books that I've read. And then next to that as well, onto the other shelf, I've also got the Deception trilogy by Rena Kent as well. And then we go into the Hockey Gods, the Dark Hockey Romance series, which I haven't yet read. And then on top of that were some books that were very kindly gifted to me. I don't know much about them. I just know they're a collection of dark romance series by Effie Campbell, and they are really stunning. In these, like the actual pages of the books are coloured. How nice is that? Okay, now onto the next shelf. So we've got some more contemporary romances. So all the Laura Nasher books. I haven't read the Dirty Air series, and I don't love the Dreamland Billionaire series, but you know, and also the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. I haven't read those either. So as you can see, I don't ever really reach for my contemporary romances. And then on top of that, I actually have The Simple Wild, which is by K.A. Tucker. Okay, so on this shelf, we've got some Why Choose romances. So I've got a lot of Eva Ashwood. I've actually read the Filthy Wicked Psycho series, apart from the last book, and I am obsessed with it so far. I haven't read Den of Vipers yet, guys. I don't know if I'm ever going to read Den of Vipers, but if anyone's read it and actually thinks it's a dark romance reader, I would enjoy it. Please let me know. Then I've got the Witsex series by Ashley N. Rostek, which is supposed to be like Why Choose meets criminal, psychological, on the run, sort of something like that. And then I've also got The Psycho by Nikki J. Summers, which is actually book 1 in a series. I just haven't purchased the rest of it yet because I just want to kind of figure out what it's like, because I don't know a lot about it. And Heartless Heathens by Santana Knox is one of the spiciest books I've ever read. Okay, in the next shelf, again, this is a little bit miscellaneous, so I've grouped all my Kate Stewart books together and my BB Reid books. Kate Stewart is next to, which is Rockstar Romance, like the Bittersweet Symphony duet is next to BB Reid's also Rockstar Romance, and then that wrecked one in the corner on the right, that is also Rockstar Romance, but then in the grey isn't. It's a billionaire dark romance, but I just wanted to keep BB Reid together. And obviously the Ravenhood trilogy, which is one of my all-time favourite series ever. Next, we've basically got my Penelope Douglas shelf, aside from the Sierra Simone books at the end. And the Devil's Night series, which is literally the best thing I've ever read, ever. It is insane. I absolutely love it. The Penelope Douglas books that I haven't read yet are Trist Six Venom, Bully, and Falls Boys. And those Sierra Simone books, I've only read Priest. I wasn't obsessed with it, so I haven't picked up the other ones yet. They're supposed to be better, but they are just not on my priority anytime soon. This is another kind of miscellaneous shelf. They are all dark romances, but I've grouped together the Tattered Curtain series by Greer Rivers. Then I grouped together the Kerry Lake books. I'm actually currently reading Master of Salt and Bones, and it's so good. then Shattered Hearts by Shea Ruby, and then we've got a couple more dark romance, like dark cocky romances there, which is The Pucking Wrong Number and then Until I Get You. I've read The Pucking Wrong Number and it's seriously unhinged. This next shelf is mainly Why Choose. I've got all my Tate James books on here. I've read the Madison Kate series. It is insane, you guys. It's one of my favourite series ever. I had so much fun with it. I haven't read the Hades series yet. And then we've got the sort of Why Choose rom-coms by Lily Gold. I've only read 3 Swedish Mountain Men off of that one because Credence, which I should have mentioned at my Penelope Douglas shelf, is one of my all-time favourite books ever. Do with that information what you will. And that's the reason why I picked up 3 Swedish Mountain Men, because it was giving me the same vibes and it was quite good. I do recommend it. And then the 4 books on the end, they are actually Dark Peter Pan Why Choose retellings. It's the Vicious Lost Boys series by Nikki St. Crow. They're okay. I haven't read the last one yet. They were okay. I think they're a bit overrated. And then over here we've got some more contemporary romances, the Twisted series, which, I mean, apart from Twisted Lies, it's not really the best series. I haven't read the other Anna Huang books, to be honest. The Idea of You is one of my favourite books of all time. Please, please, if you read one book from here, let it be The Idea of You. It is so good. It won't be like anything you've read, I'm sure of it. And then above that, I've got Forever After All by Katerina Mora, which I'm not familiar with. And then also up there, I've got A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. Okay, on to the last row. We're nearly there, guys. So on the last row, this section here is a selection of all my classics and just, I don't know, books that look like that, basically. From the bottom up, I've got Sherlock Holmes, Lord of the Rings, a couple of classics from Waterstones. Then that book right at the top is a book that I just found in a really cute little bookstore and I thought it was really pretty, so we got it. And then down here are more dark romances, so mainly Karina Halley and her like sort of dark spicy vampire romances, and then Trisha Wolfe, which is very like all focused on criminologists and psychological things and sort of like serial unalivers and psychopaths, and it's just, she writes really great stuff. And then just some more dark romance at the end, so a couple Jessie Hall books and a stalker romance right on the end there. That Pretty Monster book is a stalker romance, I think. I haven't read a lot of books on here. I've read a few from Karina Halley, I've read a couple from Trisha Wolfe, but the rest of them are yet to be read. And down here, again, just sort of more miscellaneous books, kind of sticking with the sort of like criminologist, psychological, serial unaliver themes in here, like romantic suspense sort of stuff like Butcher and Blackbird, Be Still My Heart, They Never Learn. They're the same kind of vibes as like Trisha Wolfe. See, this book is an absolute masterpiece. And Dark Notes by Pam Godwin is one of the best taboo romances I've ever read. This section again is kind of random. It's actually because I bought loads of new books and most of them are on that shelf and I didn't know where to put them. But the series at the bottom, this is the Hollows Boys series by Monty J. I am so excited to read that. Then we've got some books by Saffron A. Kent. The Unrequited is incredible if you like teacher student romance. And then 2 Jennifer Hartman books at the top. And then we've got some wildly dark. Taming Seraphine comes with about 2 pages of trigger warnings. This is my Magnolia Park shelf. I have displayed the new cover Into the Dark there because I love it, but I've got both sets of all of them, and then Never Also by Jessa Hastings. She is one of my favourite authors, and of course I had to have both versions of the covers that you can get. So I've got the OG covers and then the shoe covers as well. And then lastly, we've got the psychological thrillers here. Most of these I have read. They were books that I read on holiday years and years and years ago. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, I'm really excited to read. And I haven't read any of the Lisa Jewell books yet either, or I haven't read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, to be fair. The Housemaid was okay. I mean, I didn't love it, and I also didn't love Verity. But yes, so there we have it. That is the last of the books on my bookshelves. Oh my goodness, that was so much talking. I hope that the style of this was going to be okay. I was trying to think of the best way to show you guys literally every single book that I have. But yeah, there we have it. That's my bookshelf tour, guys. As you can see, the shelves are pretty jam-packed, so I don't actually know what I'm going to do for space because this literally goes across the entire wall. I really wish these Amazon bookshelves came with an extra shelf here so that I could then go on top, but I'm only just saying that because I've got no space. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.